Welcome to the Business Wingman Show. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I know most people in certain business functions are faced with, sometimes weekly, but they don't know how to deal with it. And it's the art of saying no. When you really know that the right thing to do is to tell people no, but you're either afraid of whatever blowback you think might happen, or something might also happen which makes the situation worse, you just default to yes. My name is Steve Smith. I'm the host of the Business Wingman Show, and I'm joined with my co-host Travis. And so we're going to dive into this because believe me when I tell you, the worst thing you can do, and I have done it in the past myself, is say yes when you know in your head you should be saying no, and then you have to deal with the consequences, knowing you should have said no, but now you have to fulfill the yes. So Travis, I know something happened recently with you that I think is a great example of saying no and actually getting the customer to appreciate it. Give us, without going too much into the weeds, what basically transpired that made this relevant?
Well, as you had said a moment ago, the art of saying no. So there actually was a book that was written on that. So we're not, for purposes of clarity here, we're not talking about the book today. I think it's more of just art as in the process, right? And
Right.
how you go about saying no to people, whether that's a friend, your boss, a client, right? It doesn't matter. There is a good and appropriate process we should take. Now, the situation that I experienced was a customer reached out to us and they had a need that I think they thought would fit into what we do as business.
Hmm.
Well, when we evaluated the need, we determined that it just wasn't the right fit for us. No, so I think on first blush, that's a good thing, right? Because we're being honest about the fact that, hey, we're just not the right provider for you here.
Right.
Where the missed opportunity was in that situation was how it was communicated to the customer.
Oh,
So while the intent of that communication was professional and it was to say thank you, but no thank you, the way it was received was not that. And so that's why we're going to talk about this today. It's, when you're in that moment where you really think you should say no and you think that that's the right outcome, how do you do that and not burn the bridge in the process?
and I would even go as far as to say for people who might have know they're in this situation or know they have this chronic problem, when you do feel like you need to say no, what is the best reason for having to say no? Is it, oh, we're booked up, we're at max capacity, so we're not taking any more clients? I don't know if that's necessarily the right one to do, but what's the reason for saying no and having it sound legitimate?
Well, in the situation that we just experienced, uh, uh, a company that we had been interacting with, they were not a client, so they were a prospect, finally came back to us and said, hey, we have an opportunity for you.
Oh boy.
And these are the things that you want, right?
Right.
You're building a relationship proactively so that when a need arises, they think of you first. Well, that need, while yes, quote unquote, it fell within the area of work that we do, the way they were approaching the engagement of partners and vendors is just not something we participate in. So what that actually is something that's called an RFP, which RFP, for those who are listening, you're unfamiliar with that term. What that means is request for proposal. There's other ways people describe that, RFI, request for information, and so forth. But most often what that is, it's a formal process a company will undertake to collect data and information from their supply chain partners on how they would approach doing work or providing materials or product. And then, of course, cost associated.
Sure.
So we have, it's not black and white, but it's pretty close to that. We don't engage in RFPs as a business, our company.